Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. I'm Dan from Adventures in Guitarland, where I teach you how to play guitar by playing a role-playing game. Today we're going to continue that blacksmith journey and learn how we made that fretboard all nice and shiny and wonderfully conditioned and just playing great. So before we do, please click that like, subscribe, and bell icon so you're notified whenever I come out with new content. Leave a comment below on if this is helpful. I think it is, because a good fretboard and nice polished frets makes playing easier. So let's look at how we did that. All right, so the first thing you do is get yourself some kind of a nice fretboard cleaner. Now I'm using a actual all-in-one guitar cleaner that cleans as well as waxes, and that was my mistake to begin with, but it's okay because the oil that I use also cleans and conditions, so I was able to get that off at the end. Get yourself a nice lint-free towel, and you're going to spray it on the towel. This allows you to control how much of the product is actually going onto the guitar. That way you don't end up getting pulling or end up messing up. So if you put too much on there, it's on the towel, not on the guitar, and can be saved simply by wringing it out or getting another towel. So continue to apply until you get it all over the fretboard. It's right around here that I realized, oh, maybe I should make this cloth nice and tight around my hand, like I normally do, instead of leaving it loose, and that's exactly what I do, so I can make sure that I'm getting in between each fret and actually cleaning the fretboard itself. So you see me going all over the fretboard, cleaning it up, really working that in with the direction of the wood grain, because that's just my personal preference. Every once in a while, if I have a problem spot, I will go against the grain, but I prefer to clean with the wood grain. And you can see I'm already getting a lot of grime off there, and you keep doing this process until your cloth comes up clean. Typically, that's 1 or 2 times. This one, it took more. Now, once you're done with that, time to look at the frets. Now, I'm feeling across this just to make sure there's no sharp fret edges, which I already know there are not, because I've looked at this with a magnifying glass, and I don't even have tooling marks on this guitar. I've done a fair amount of work on this fretboard, so it's pretty good. However, it is dirty. So, I'm going to show you how to clean up and polish those frets themselves. And that's just with some simple steel wool. Now, when you're doing this, make sure you're getting the quad 0 steel wool. That's critical because it's the extremely fine steel wool. That's what you want. You want to take off the surface dirt and grime, not the actual metal. So pull yourself off a little tuft, roll that into a compact little ball, if you will, and you're just going to use that going side to side without downward pressure. Now, being the genius I am, I started this out off of frame, but I get into frame really quick, and you'll see just how fast and easy it is to actually polish these frets up. That's it. Doesn't take long at all. And note that I'm not pushing down a bunch. Now, I did that one. We'll skip this fret. We'll polish that one. We'll skip, and then we'll polish again. That way, you can see just the difference between a nicely polished fret and one that didn't have any polish on it. Now, that's all it takes. It's that quick. Just going side to side along the fret itself. And I'm probably going a little more aggressive than I normally would just because I'm on video. And you can see the difference between the ones that I didn't do and the rest of the frets that actually were polished. And I need to finish up the rest of these. So why do you do this? One, it helps you bend. It makes it smoother. It helps the tone. It makes it easier to play, and you're sustained. The amount of time that a note actually rings out will also increase by this. So let me go back here and go ahead and get this one. If you ever see the wool starting to fall out of that little ball, go ahead and tighten it back up. That will keep it as close to on the actual fret as possible. What I'm doing here is just running my finger across, feeling for any spots that my eyes don't see. So if I feel anything that's a little bit rough or a little sticky, I go ahead and hit it up with a little more steel wool. Obviously, there's a lot more on the higher frets because I don't play them as much, so there was a lot more grime built up down there. Now, one last thing. If you look here, it looks like, oh man, he's sanding off part of his wood. I really didn't. And if I did, it is a microscopic amount. So once you're done with this, you want to go ahead and clean the guitar neck again. So same process as before. I'm going to clean it again to get any of the grime that came off of the frets off of there, as well as any little microscopic pieces of wood that might have been taken off as well. One addendum, this is me doing this for an acoustic guitar, not an electric. If this was an electric guitar, before you start messing with the frets, you have to tape up your pickups. What you don't see me off screen here is I'm cleaning my headstock. I'm going around all the tuning pegs and everything and cleaning it. This is me actually using this all-purpose cleaner for what it's supposed to be used for, and that is the actual guitar body, around my sound hole, and I'm doing the entire top of the guitar. Then I do the sides, and I did the back as well. A lot of that I did off camera because you don't want to sit here and watch me clean my entire guitar. What's the point of that? One other thing, I made sure that I got down to the saddle here, as well as once you're done and you have it all applied, you get up to a dry spot on it and you start buffing it off, or buffing it up. And what that'll do is it'll give it a nice shine and make your guitar pretty. And who doesn't want to play pretty guitars? Finally, once you're done with all that, it's time to condition the fretboard itself. Now for this, you need some kind of a fret conditioning oil. Again, same brand here that I got mine from. I'm using the inside of the cloth this time because I know it's clean, I know it's dry, and it actually has some smaller fibers there that I think will help me get into everything. So the same process, I'm going to take this and I'm going to wrap it tightly around my fingers, and then I'm just going to put 2 to 3 drops of this onto the cloth itself. Once I have those 2 or 3 on there, I'm going to make sure it gets evenly distributed all over the entire fretboard. I'm going with the grain. Yet again, this one, it's a little more important that you go with the grain. And I'm taking extra care to make sure that every portion of wood in between those frets is getting some of this treatment. This is the conditioning portion. This is what helps bring that dry fretboard back to life. So I'm taking a little bit of extra care up there towards the higher frets, the smaller frets, to get in between them. And then once you're done with that process, let it sit for a couple minutes. Once you're done letting it sit, go ahead, wipe it off. And that really should be it for your guitar maintenance. If you're keeping up with this, now you just wipe off the excess and you're done. Make sure you're using the dry, clean portion to wipe it off. That being said, this guitar had been sitting for years. This hadn't been restrung in years. So this process actually needed to be done multiple times. So I would do this, clean it off, let it sit 15-20 minutes, and then if it was still bone dry, I put 2 or 3 more drops on there until it was done. It took me about an hour because it took, I think, 4 applications total, but then it was fine. All right, guys, so that's it. That is how to clean, condition, and a little bit of polishing frets on there. It does make everything much easier to play. My sustain is wonderful, as you hear all of those notes still ringing out. And it's made it much easier to just play in general. And I can even get a little bit of that up in there. So there you go. If you like this and if this is helpful, don't forget to click that like, subscribe, and bell icon. Leave a comment and enjoy your adventure. I'll see you in Guitarland.